Today is going to be on the rebrand that we kind of announced last week. I know that we've been talking about V3 for a lot of these webinars, so we're finally excited to actually call it the Story Builder, because that's kind of something that we've been holding back. We were only telling some people about the rebrand, so we really tried to keep it under wraps as best we could. But the version 3 is actually now going to be referred to as the Story Builder. So that is what all of that just kind of transpired. And we're really excited to kind of dive a little bit deeper into the rebrand today and discuss a little bit more about the logo and the colors that we chose. And I'm even going to show you a little bit about the website that we're working on. And then I'll share that launch date with everyone and when you can expect to officially kind of be rebranded as Story. We are going to have a conference in August, the Association of African American Museums. So we are aiming by August to be rebranded. Not all of the products are going to launch at once, and I'm going to show you a little bit about what products are going to be renamed today, but also I'll go over what products are maybe will be launching immediately versus what products are going to be held back until we kind of further develop those. So I will get started, and I'm going to share my screen so I can go over a little bit of that branding with you guys, and then I will show the website. All right, so just a little bit of background on Story. Story was actually a brand that we had acquired in 2018 when we had acquired Authentic / My Tours. So this is kind of where Story had developed and where it came from. Story specifically, when it's written, will always be in all caps, but as you can see, the logo for this purpose is actually in lowercase with just that Q specifically. So we also really liked the idea of this branding just because we can actually use the Q just as a little bit of like a side piece that we can have on t-shirts and branding and collateral. But it also, as you can see here, signifies a little bit of that magnifying glass still. And I'm going to go over the old logo quick to kind of show you where this all developed and how it had come to where it is now. So this was when we had acquired Story, this was the actual icon and the logo itself. As you can see, it actually developed into a magnifying glass, but what people don't know is that Story, actually that Q and that R in the middle stood for QR codes. So right when QR codes had kind of come out and it had gotten really big, this is when Story specifically had kind of developed, and this is when they were like, oh, we can do a Q instead of an O because we help share people's stories, but at the same time, they wanted to tie it in with those apps and kind of what they were creating in terms of their portal app as well. So a lot of people, some people are still in the Story portal app. They're still in this app that we own, but we're actually migrating people over to the Story Builder, which is version 3. We're migrating them over to that builder just so we can kind of develop this app specifically and kind of come up with a portal app, which is going to be one of those products that we will be launching. But this is kind of where that Q came from. And the magnifying glass had developed just from magnifying stories, discovering, exploring a little bit more, exploring deeper. And that's where they had come up with this specific magnifying glass. So with the new branding, we specifically wanted to keep the magnifying glass. We didn't want to completely change what Story had originally stood for. And we really needed to take a deeper look into Onsell when we decided to rebrand. A lot of times we actually thought about keeping our name, but with Cell in there, it was a little bit outdated and it didn't really 100% I guess, stand for what we stood for anymore. So now we're really more about sharing stories. A lot of people use our platform for gamification. They use it for digital tours, etc. And Onsell really stood more for cell phone tours. So I don't know if many people know this, but Onsell actually started in 2006 with audio tours, specifically phone tours. And that is how that kind of developed. And so we were like, well, we do audio tours and we do cell phone tours still a little bit, but we've really developed into a platform where people can tell stories. And that is where this kind of came from. So we were like, what is a good name for that? What can we do with that? And we were like, oh, we have the name under our umbrella brands. And we were like, let's go back to the brand that we had acquired in 2018 and let's kind of develop that a little bit further and give it a new modern twist. And that was really what we were concerned about, is how do we make this modern? How do we keep up with what's going on right now? and then we were like, and then colors. What do we want to do for colors? We didn't want to stick with stories black and white. And then we noticed that we had a lot of platforms and products that needed to be navigable for our users. So having one color for all of our products, we were like, it would be a lot easier for our brands to be able to kind of be navigable on their own. So all of our platforms, especially on the website, all have their own color. And that's going to make it a lot easier for branding, but a lot easier for customers and users to kind of navigate what will work best for them and which one of these platforms is going to be good for their organization or the individual themselves. So as you can see, we have story apps. Story apps is actually going to be what we do now. So the My Tours platform, the version 2, and then the Onsell platform, that is what is going to be story apps. So everyone will be kind of under that umbrella. And then we have story guide, and that was what I was talking about with the story portal itself. So the story portal itself is going to become story guide, and it's going to be a lot about exploring places. So a lot of probably towns and cities and local governments will be under that umbrella, but also great for some tour operators, and museums can use this if they don't want their own app, but they want maybe some tours within an app. And guide is going to be a little bit different because we're developing it into a portal specifically for travel, essentially. So when I go to a place, maybe I want to know what there is to do at that place. So I could look for, town tours, city tours, biking tours, anything like that. And guide specifically will also have museums or anyone else who kind of wants to be in that app as well. So that's one app, and that's going to have many organizations within that app. And then we also have Story Fleet. So Fleet is something that we're developing for more of the tour operator sector. Fleet specifically is going to be for your own devices. So even museums, a lot of times they have devices that they use, shared devices. I know that right now with COVID, a lot of that is being pulled back, but this was a product that might not launch right away. It's still being developed a little bit, but it's going to make it really easy for tour operators to create their content on our platform and then upload it to their own devices to then hand out and take people on these guided tours. Story Collect, we actually have talked about Story Collect before, just under the name Curtis. So Curtis is going to become Story Collect for collections, for collecting all of that data and those objects and be able to digitize them. So that is where all of these products are kind of coming from. Moving on a little bit to why story, like I had mentioned, the Q had actually stood for QR codes, and then it had developed into the magnifying glass. And we actually decided to keep the magnifying glass. And as you can see, it's very subtle. We didn't want it to be, right out there, but we also wanted to make sure people spelled it with that Q because we didn't want people spelling it with an O. But we also wanted the magnifying glass to be in there because it's just about magnifying these stories and kind of exploring and discovering a little bit more about what's behind these organizations or individual stories or even artworks in universities and things like that. So this is why we had actually decided to keep the Q icon. So just a little bit about the colors. We were looking for something that ultimately was going to be modern, but also at the same time was going to be, really could pop out and be fun for branding. And we were going to think about keeping our blue, but then we were like, no, because we have all these products that we want different colors for. So this is just going to make the platforms essentially easy to navigate for people. And I'll show you how as well once I go to the website. This also kind of creates a fun aspect for us because we are always looking to develop new products for our customers, and we're always trying to envision and dream up things that we could do for the future. And this kind of allows us to add colors. So we could add a yellow, we could add a purple, we could add as many colors as we want to this and also create shades of this for branding. So this is why we had gone with these colors specifically, and we'd actually worked with a designer down in New Zealand who had kind of come up with this palette, and it took a lot of time to develop just because we really wanted to get it right, and we really want to make sure that this isn't dated in a few years, and we're really excited about these colors and being able to possibly add to this in the future. All right, so I'm just going to show you a few screenshots of the website, and then I'm actually going to do a little bit of a screen share. It's still under development, so you'll see a lot of stock images with the watermarks and things like that, we're still getting the licensing for those, and we're probably going to swap some out. Right now, the website is just kind of a visual of what we're thinking, and those images are just placeholders. So for the home page of the website, this is kind of what we were thinking. We actually are going to change this aqua color for the background, and we're actually going to change it to that dark blue color. So we haven't done that yet. So when you see it, this is kind of what it's going to look like. As you can see with the Q icon, we really wanted to keep it as that magnifying glass because you can do things like this for the branding and just kind of show like what people might be looking at in an app. And then this is the color that we're actually probably going to change it to, but also give us your feedback because we are always looking for opinions on whether we should keep the aqua or go to this blue color. We can't promise anything, but we are always looking for different opinions from our customers. And when we actually branded the story, we did do some research and we did talk to a lot of longtime customers, and they were the one who actually chose this name out of about 5 options. So this is why we ultimately also decided to go with story. So we definitely want your opinions, and we're always looking for new and creative ideas. So products and pricing, this is one of those reasons that we went with different colors for different products. As you can see, you have apps, guide, fleet, and collect, and this is just going to make it easy for prospects and customers to come to this website and kind of be like, well, what is going to work best for my organization? Is it apps? Is it guides? Do I have shared devices? Is it going to be fleet? Or am I looking to just digitize a collection that I have and create sort of this archive for the museum or this library? So this is going to just make it really easy for people to just kind of see right away and go to that. All right, and then this is also, we also got some questions. How am I gonna log into the old Onsell builder or the old Curtis builder or the old My Tours builder? You're still gonna have access to all of those platforms. Like I said, the My Tours and Onsell, that's actually gonna go under the story apps, but the story one right here that you see, that one is actually the portal app. So people can still log into the portal app right now, and that's kind of what we're going to do right there. But we are migrating people over so that we can kind of give it some adjustments and a new look. And then also you'll have Curtis right here. So as we develop these builders, we're just going to make it easy for people to still be able to log into their old projects, but you will also be able to do that from this new story website. And then the Onsell and My Tours will actually still be up, those websites, but they'll redirect to here. So I'm going to click on this, and I'm now going to do a screen share of the website. And Josh, let me know if you can you still see this? All right. Okay, perfect. So everyone can still see it. Okay, so let me just make this larger. So we have our products and pricing right here. So story, apps, guide, and fleet. And then, like I said, we are thinking of changing this color. And then we have our customers. So you'll be able to actually go to these and see what types of museums, galleries, libraries, parks and trails, forests, universities, and schools are kind of with us and what they do on their apps. And then you'll also be able to see what we can do. So on the museum page, we'll have digital tours, audio guides, etc. And then we also have the About Us and the Contact Us, which actually isn't set up yet. But I'm going to go just over some of these product pages so you can get a better look at some of these. So this is what apps is going to be. Like I said, this is going to be My Tours and Onsell under this kind of umbrella term. And this is our branded app. So if you have your own app that people can download from the Apple and Google Play Store, or if you're on Onsell, just a web app sometimes, this is kind of where your product is going to be considered under. And as you can see, we just have a little bit of how you do it, what makes us different. We have the custom and mobile web apps, and then we have story app features here. And then I will go down to guide. And like I said, this is going to be more of that portal app. So what you'll do is you'll create tours and you'll create things like that under the builder, but then it will go directly in an app. So if you're looking for this portal app, we're talking about getting something up and running within maybe a day or a few hours and not a few weeks or a month or so. So if you're in a hurry, or if you want to kind of be in an app where there's more content than just yours, if you want people to be able to really search and scroll and see what's in their area, this is kind of what you would want to do. So this is something where you wouldn't need those developer accounts. It would all go into our actual story app. And this is how that's all going to work. And then we have fleet. So again, this is going to be specifically for tour operators, anyone with a shared device. So museums can also use this as well. And audio guides, you can pretty much do everything you can on the other apps, but this is just uploading that content directly to those devices. And specifically, this is going to work well for tour operators because we're working on developing it so that you can actually lock people into the content, so people can't exit out of the iPads or the phones and kind of go on like Safari or other apps. It would basically just be your content that they have access to. So, and if you're a tour operator, you already know that, there's a lot of devices like that you upload the content and it just is that content, especially if it's on an iPad or an iPhone or anything like that. So this is what that's kind of going to look like. And this is what we're developing that for. This one is probably not going to be launched by August like we had wanted. This is still kind of in development, but also it's going to be very soon. Also, don't quote me on that. We are doing a lot of work on this one every day, and as well as the others. So it could launch by August. And then we have collect again. So this one is one that is already launched. It's just under a different name, which is Curtis. And this is just going to be rebranded under this name and is going to just have a kind of new page on the website. So this is what we're looking at for the rebrand specifically. I do have the Q&A here, and then I just want to go over. And so this is our projected launch date. So we are looking at a launch date of July 31st because that African American Association of Museums actually has their conference on August 5th. So we want to go into a fresh conference and we want to be rebranded as a new name, and we're really excited to kind of get this ball rolling. This was actually supposed to be launched already, but because of COVID, we kind of had to take a step back and do a lot more on the webinars and the online with Onsell and really focus on pushing some of these projects along and helping people with their projects. And then we decided to kind of dive a little bit more into the rebrand. So we're really excited for this to finally launch, and I'm going to open up the Q&A and see if we have any questions. And feel free again to let me know about that. Do you prefer the aqua? Do you prefer the actual blue? Okay, okay, so yes, we have a question about the new invoice being from Story. I think Josh might be able to answer that, but it also looks like Josh, I'm going to make you a host as well for a second because I cannot unmute you either right now. So just so you know, you are the host right now.
Oh, there we go. Yes. Yes. So the new invoices, and I don't know if we have a time for that. It's possible that's also August 1st, but those will be coming from Story now. Still nothing in terms of the bank accounts, the payments, anything like that. That all stays the same. Yep, we've got some other questions coming in here. Mm-hmm. So the web apps that are out there that are, yourname.onsell.com, those will continue. If you're on the Onsell builder, you're still, going to be using that builder to build these apps, and it still will be, .onsell.com. And even if, you do choose to move your tours and apps over to the new builder, we will be able to reroute from that .onsell.com link. So, you'll have some time to change any signage or anything like that. So yes, the .onsell.com is going to be around. Another question, any prior presentations? Yes, all of the prior webinars and presentations we've done are on our YouTube page or YouTube channel right now. So you can view them there. And then another question, will the change in brand of Onsell also increase the price of services with Onsell? No, anything you have, currently with Onsell, price-wise, plan-wise, that will remain.
And then, did you touch on the branding? And you said the price, Josh, you go over the pricing.
Yep. Price will stay the same.
All right. And then are we keeping the mobile dial-in / phone tour option?
So yes, so that is, as we've touched on before, we are always working for feature parity with the OnCell builder and My Tours builder, and then this new story apps builder. But if you are currently on OnCell, your dial-in phone tour will not be affected. And then if you are migrating that content over to the new builder, we'll work with you to make sure that phone line stays intact.
And there's some questions too in the chat, Josh. Will the apps we have created need to be reconstructed?
No. So again, there kind of, as there is now, there are three builders that we have: the OnCell, My Tours, and this new V3 story app that we've been discussing. If you choose to, and we did actually do one of these a few weeks ago, and we'll probably put that when we send out the link to this recording, we'll include that, just kind of that sneak peek into the actual builder itself. So if we are migrating your content over to that new one, we can do that automatically. And then there will be, there's some additional features, and, it doesn't look exactly the same. So there might be some cleanup that we'll work with you through. But if you're staying on Onsell, if you're staying on My Tours right now, there's nothing app-wise that you'll need to change. Everything will, continue running as is.
And then there was one on branding too. Will you need to swap out promotional materials? We're not going to force anyone to swap out promotional materials. Also, like I'd mentioned, the My Tours and OnCell, that's all going to be rerouted. It's going to stay up for a while, those sites. And also same with kind of those URLs. So you won't need to, but if you would like to, that's also fine. But also, because of the cost, we are probably also going to send out maybe some cards and stuff for free. So we're going to look into things like that too, and just those promotional materials ourselves. But that's something that you can also discuss with your client manager, and then they'll contact me and we can kind of work something out, because it will depend on what promotional materials you want and kind of what your preference is on that.
Mm-hmm. And then just going forward, anything that you're actually ordering promotional wise through us, we'll just have this updated logo. But yeah, as mentioned, there won't be any need to change those.
There's one on what is the best platform out of the 3 formats for museums and multiple exhibits to be featured. I would probably say it's between apps and guide and apps. It really kind of depends on your preference and where you want to be located. Do you want your own branded app, or do you want to be in the Story branded app where there's other content for other organizations? So it's really more of a personal choice. But you have any other feedback on that one, Josh?
Yeah, kind of just really depends on what you're using the tour or the app for. So happy to talk through it, kind of one-on-one, as I think, all three, however many we have all of their, benefits to them. So yeah, happy to talk through that kind of specifically for your site.
And then there's a question on, is there additional fees for migrations and moving things over to the new platforms? And there is not. All of the migrations are going to be done by us entirely at our expense. We're not going to make anyone pay anything to migrate over to any new service. So that's definitely not going to happen. And again, like Josh mentioned, your pricing is going to remain the same. So this is mainly a rebrand for us and us launching new products. So all of that charge and things like that, that's going to be on us to migrate all of that. And we'll also make sure that the migration process is quick and simple, and it's not something where your users and you won't have access to the builder or your content for a certain period of time. The only thing that is going to be for the users and for the customers is kind of learning that new platform, which you'll meet again with your client manager, and they can do a screen share and they can go over the new builder with you and just kind of show you all the new features and what you can do. So that is going to be, again, on us to train you and make sure that you understand everything. And we're willing to meet with you as many times as you need to kind of go over those platforms and make sure that you understand how to use them, and you'll be able to access your content. Someone also asked Josh, what additional features are there?
So the additional features that kind of depends on if you are on OnCell or My Tours right now. I guess that's specifically for story apps. We will also send out the recording of that sneak peek of that builder, so everybody can have that, where we did kind of go through the features of that. In terms of what it can do, it's built with the latest technology. Accessibility was a forefront when it was designed. So if you are, if you have a tour in multiple languages, or an ASL, audio described, social narrative, all of that was kind of at the forefront when it was designed. So it is really great for any of that. Has a lot of options. It, as we mentioned, it doesn't quite have the feature parity in terms of some of the gamification aspects with badges and photo filters, but for those kind of straightforward tours, it is excellent. And again, happy to talk through it kind of more one-on-one with what you are currently doing on either Onsell or My Tours.
Okay, and then will there be any changes to the Onsell web app builder if I transfer over from Onsell? Will there be a need for a new contract to be filed?
Oh, okay, yep. Nope, so no changes to the Onsell builder itself. So if your tour is there, you'll just continue building as you have been. And if you do switch from the Onsell builder to the story apps builder, a new contract would not need to be filed. Same company, just a new platform.
Someone said, I've heard of badges, but how does it work for viewers and visitors to the experiences and the exhibits?
Yep, so badges on the Onsell builder are a way for your visitors and app users to earn kind of rewards as they're going through either a tour, scavenger hunt, or quiz. So these badges are tied to a page. So when the user accesses that page, it'll trigger this badge, which is just kind of a small little graphic that pops up, and then they have a page of these earned badges, so they can kind of track their progress as they go.
And we are still, again, it's been mentioned too, if the badges and quiz feature and things like that, that's on both kind of Onsell and My Tours. My Tours doesn't currently have badges, but the story apps that we're talking about, the new builder, which would be that story builder, which is our version 3 of My Tours, we are looking to get feature parity. So we are trying to get the Onsell features like badges and other things that you guys really enjoy using, especially museums use those a lot, and same with our forest accounts. Those ones specifically are going to, we're working on getting those over and kind of making sure that the features you have on your current platforms are the features that you'll have available on the other platforms, and then more. So also the new platform, we talked about the Walt Disney Family Museum. It is very, very good for accessibility. They use it mainly for accessibility. And right now with COVID, when they had to shut down, they actually did put a virtual tour in the app as well. So that's another kind of really great thing about the new builder is My Tours and Onsell, they're pretty accessible right now, but the developers really kind of went above and beyond to make the new story builder great for accessibility. So that's one that works really well for museums. So again, on that question on is story guide or is story apps better, it really depends on your organization. A lot of times these apps are used specifically for accessibility. So we would probably say story apps if you are looking to kind of make this a very accessible experience for your visitors. When the upgraded features were given to everyone early on in the summer, are they going to stay accessible, meaning video capacity?
Yes. Yep. So when we opened up the plans that were restricted, and that's primarily for kind of older Onsell customers, that will continue. So any media, images, audio, text, video, you'll continue to be able to use that ongoing.
And I see a question too, Catherine said, I would love to learn more about how to do a virtual tour. Where can I read about that, or has it not been launched yet? So we actually, when COVID started, we got a lot of questions about digital tours and virtual tours. And we can't necessarily, I don't know if anyone's ever heard of a Matterport video or Matterport camera. We've talked about that before. That is something that we can put in our apps. We have to actually get the API from the company and to put that into the app to embed it. But we basically did some webinars, and those are on our YouTube. That's where you'd be able to find them. We did a lot of webinars on how to kind of create a virtual experience where visitors could use it on and off site. So also some cheap ways, some more expensive ways, like that Matterport camera and that Matterport video. But we also had other people just go through the museum when it was empty and just video. And the quality was actually pretty good. And then they uploaded that, or they created a virtual tour where they went like room by room or gallery by gallery and exhibit by exhibit, and just kind of took photos. So there is cheaper ways of doing that. I know that a lot of times those virtual experiences can be expensive to create. Matterport isn't the cheapest option. It is a really cool way to kind of do a virtual tour and to walk through the museum or to walk through your organization or your historic site or outside. But there are other ways that you can in-house create that content as well. Another question came through, Josh: accessibility, multiple images, hearing impaired, and other ones.
Yeah, so in terms of the accessibility, right, so we mentioned the way it handles multiple languages, hearing impaired, being able to upload ASL videos, which really all of the platforms, the builders that we have, you can upload, ASL videos, and all also work with the current screen, current phones, either the voiceovers, so those accessibility features with the phone. However, the new Story apps builder, the actual code of it, the way it handles, reading an image or reading kind of links, the previous and next links, it really on a kind of code level just really works well with the phone's accessibility features in terms of voiceover for both Android and iOS.
And then there was a question about that 360 degree photos and being able to kind of use those for the virtual tours. Right now, we can't actually embed those 360 degree photos and videos, and we talked about that in a few of the other webinars, but we did give some hacks on other ways to link out to those to kind of put them into the experience. Unfortunately, right now, they would have to kind of go on your website, and then you would link out with maybe a button from the app. And that would kind of work that way. But also, again, we're always developing new features and trying to get that feature parity on the Onsell apps builder, the new builder that we're working on. So that is something that we can also mention to the developers. And Josh, I don't know if that's something that has been flagged as a priority right now, getting that stuff embedded.
Right, the 360 photos are on the current My Tours builder. And then, yes, it is a priority for the Story apps builder.
So that would be another way to kind of do those virtual tours. So we are, and again, if you have any ideas of features that we're missing or things that you would like to see, definitely feel free to email your client manager so that they can pass them along, because sometimes it is something we can do for a custom development fee, or it's something that we will maybe look into putting on the new builders, or it's something that we are developing currently for the new builder that we can tell you maybe it's best that you move to that builder now and you can use that feature. So definitely reach out if there's something you're not seeing on Onsell and My Tours that you think that you might need, or that you might need in the future that you're looking for now. Are our reps up to speed to show me how to move our Onsell tours over?
Yes. Yep. So anybody who is looking for kind of a demo of the new platform, we can certainly go through that with you and talk how your current tour would look, and if it works well over there right now, or if it makes more sense to currently just wait on the current builder.
Yeah, and again, that's yeah, that's something that I would contact them if you're looking to move over right away. If you're on My Tours, we are migrating people over depending on what works best for you. So that's a conversation that I would definitely have with the client manager. What's the best time to kind of move over to that version 3? And the developers will kind of let you know. Right now, the migrations take a little bit of time. So we are working on getting the migration process fast. So it's like a one-click button and then it's done. But if you're looking to migrate over now, you'd have to talk to them so that they can kind of speak to the developers and get a time frame for you on how long that would take. So that's something to also think about. But we are already migrating people over, and the CSMs know everything about that and how to kind of get that ball rolling if that's something that you definitely want to do. Can any of the apps work with screen readers, Josh?
In terms of the phone's accessibility features, yes, all of the apps will work with those.
All right, is there any other, I'm not seeing any other questions come through. Is there an expected delay or downtime when the migration happens? Yeah, so right now, do you know approximately how long the downtime is, Josh? If you were to go from My Tours to the Story Builder v3?
Well, so there actually isn't any downtime. So if you are, moving from either the Onsell builder or My Tours builder to Story apps, your current app will just continue working, and then when the new one, the migration is completed, everything just kind of layers over top of it. So there actually isn't any downtime when the migration happens. It's just the process of migrating it takes some time, but the launch is instant.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? Feel free to just put them in the chat right now. And then if you think of something later that you're looking for, definitely feel free to message your client manager and kind of get a better understanding of what you're looking for. And they'll kind of get back to you and let you know if you can migrate right away or if there's certain features you're looking for. Also, feel free to email and let us know if you prefer that darker blue or that aqua blue on the front of the website. We're thinking that we're going to go with the darker blue, but again, we're always open to new opinions, and we really appreciate everyone's feedback. Again, right now is kind of everything is kind of in the works, and we're developing the stuff every day. So any feedback really helps, and we are totally open to it. We're not going to be offended or anything. We are always looking for ideas, especially from our actual customers and our clients. It's really helpful to hear from you guys. So thank you so much for taking the time to kind of listen to a little more into the rebrand. And yes, so we are going to have a copy of this recording. We just got that question. I'm going to put it on the YouTube, and then I'm also going to, we're going to send it out to all of our clients as well, again, just so you can kind of review the branding if you want. It looks like we have a lot of people who are preferring the darker blue, so I'll definitely take that into account. That's what we're leaning towards, so thank you. Okay, all right, well, again, any questions, feel free to reach out, and this will be up on our YouTube for people to view. So thank you, everyone, and stay safe and have a good day.